Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekly huddle. We are so excited for everybody that jumped on. We have an awesome crowd for the start of 2017. I don't know about you guys, but I have been like on a high since like the 1st of January. Amanda always looks at me funny. Not that kind of high, Amanda, like a yay giddy high. Because I'm just so excited for 2017 and the anticipation of what this year is going to bring. A little bit of backstory for those that don't know. When I started Plexus in April of 2014, I really had no idea what this business was going to mean for me or my family or anything else for that matter. And it's turned into such an amazing journey. And now it's like 2 years later, we've had lots of hard work, we've had lots of anticipation to get us to where we are. And it's so exciting to be at a place, to be at a point, to be at a place where literally jewel status is right around the corner for so many of you. And I truly feel 2017 is the year for that. But not only that, it's the year for true freedom to finally hit so many people on our team. I look at other teams. Amber's a great example of that, but even like Sarah Taylor and Nikki Hinkle, you know what I mean, our uplines, and the life changes that have been made on those teams of people that no longer work full-time jobs, people that were full-time teachers and they no longer do that, people that were full-time nurses and they no longer do that. All of these things, and they have random lunches that they get together for, and they have random retreats. And I see that for our team this year, and it's so exciting for me. So when I was thinking about the first huddle to start it off, what were we going to talk about? Something I don't think we've ever talked about on our team is grit, and what grit is really, and what it means, and kind of the encompassing of it, of what it's going to do for your business. So we're going to talk about starting 2017 with grit. So the Webster Dictionary of grit is in a context of behavior. So it's not sand, it's actual behavior. And it's firmness of character, perseverance, and passion for long-term goals. And why do we need grit? Why is grit something that we need to succeed? And what is the difference between grit and determination or consistency? Well, grit is truly an encompassing, like it's an all-encompassing aspect, an all-encompassing characteristic thing of determination, persistence, perseverance, patience, consistency. All of these all together equal grit. So like I'm very much a visual person. So I envision grit is like the tree. And then your determination is a branch off the grit of the tree. Your persistence is a branch off the grit, which is the tree. Your perseverance, patience, all of that. So I want to break it down for you guys and talk about the 5 characteristics that people say are the biggest things for what grit is. How do you get those? What are some things you can do if you feel like you're lacking in some of those categories? Now, how I came up with this topic is because I've been listening to podcasts that are called TED Talks. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of them. And there's some really good books out there that are based off TED Talks too. But what they are is they're like short podcasts or short live videos, stuff like that, that are based on like self-development. Some of them are self-helps, and they were started for business, but now they're for tons of things. But they're called TED Talks, TED, and then Talks, capital TED. So if you're looking for something a little different, they're a really good resource to do. But the 5 characteristics that you need for successful grit. The first one is courage. Your ability to manage fear is imperative and a characteristic needed for success. Those people that have the most grit are not afraid to fail, but rather they accept it and they know it's going to happen. They understand that there's a value to defeat. Defeat isn't something that, we just dread. It's almost something that you look forward to because you know it's going to happen. If you lack courage, like how can you do that? So if you're like, okay, well, courage isn't something that I'm really strong at. I'm not necessarily someone that goes, sweet, someone told me no, or sweet, I defeated this month, what else, right? If that's something that you feel like holds you back, how do you build that? Well, one of the best examples I've ever read in a book called Go for No, which is by Andrea Waltz and Richard Fenton. If you haven't read it, put it on your list this year. go for no. It talks about courage is comparative to a muscle. So muscles, we have to exercise them every day. It's something we have to use every day. If we don't use it, the medical term for it is atrophy, but what it basically means is it dies or it gets less. Courage is a great example of that. If you don't have courage, a great way to get courage is to do something every day that makes you uncomfortable, to build that up. If you use it every single day, you practice it every day, you will continue to build that character, that courage up. Another great book is, I already told you that, to go for no. Okay. So I love what Eleanor Roosevelt says, do something that scares you every day. And there's lots of different quotes out there that says that, but that's one of my greatest things. And I think especially for us in network marketing and plexus, if you're not doing something that makes you a little bit nervous, then you're not pushing yourself hard enough. You're not growing great enough. We've had that told to us over and over. But it's a great example of the number one thing of what it takes to have grit. The second thing that it takes to have grit is consistency, or this consciousness, okay? It's also defined as commitment. People will say they're committed. They'll show up to huddles, for example. They'll show up and say, they'll read their daily affirmations. They'll be a part of book club. They may even do DMO to some extent and reach out to new people. But they actually don't actually see themselves succeeding. They'll say, well, I know that's going to happen for Tristan. I know that's going to happen for Jill. I know that's going to happen for Lynette. But I'm not really sure I can see myself driving that Lexus. I'm not really sure plexus is going to be what does it for me. If you can't fully vision yourself doing it, then you are lacking that consciousness of believing it, that consciousness of attaining it. It's like somebody saying, what is my example? It's like somebody saying that they're going to commit for gold rather than just showing up for practice. Does that make sense? So like it's someone saying, okay, I'm going for gold, or the difference of someone just showing up. You can show up for practice, but not believe that you're ever going to get a gold medal in the Olympics. Does that make sense? You can show up every day. You can put the work in every day, but that doesn't mean you actually believe yourself standing on that podium at the Olympics and achieving that gold medal. It's kind of the same thing. If you can't see yourself driving your Lexus, if you can't see yourself making $10,000 a month, I get that's a lot, guys. We live in a place that's not something that everybody is used to. You know, I'm trying to see who's on the call right now. Every single one of us on this call is from Central Illinois, a farming community, or Central Iowa, okay? Those are farming industry-based communities. We are communities and people that are surrounded by hard work and dedication. And, you know, I would say almost all of us come from backgrounds of hardworking relatives or hardworking grandparents, something like that. So focusing on that and focusing on making sure that it's not just something that you're coming to, it's not just something that you're showing up to, but it's something that you're actually consciously working to achieve, consciously working to get there. Okay, let's say that consciousness isn't something that you have. How can you do that? Daily affirmations are a great, great thing. Speaking life over yourself, speaking life over your business, doing the vision boards and putting that somewhere where you can see it every single day. I think I've showed you guys this before, but my daily affirmations are right there, okay? That's the dresser that I get ready at every single day, and that's my daily affirmations. They're somewhere where I can see them every single morning and every single night. Not only are they right there, they're also in my bathroom, and they're stapled on the door. They're at my cubicle at work. They're the bookmark in my Bible, okay? There are places where I see them every single day. I surround myself with them. I surround myself with people that constantly bring that to me and bring that light to me. It's so important that you are consciously making the effort, not only just to show up, but to see yourself succeeding. Some great books along that lines are Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which I know several of you have read or have it on your book list to read this year. And then also What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter, Helmstetter, however you want to say that. Two great books. Okay, so first was courage. Second is consciousness. Number 3 is follow through and long-term goals. So this is where practice, practice, practice comes into play, okay? The best of the best in any industry. And when I say this, I mean any industry. So like the Beatles, Michael Jordan, okay? Think of the best anywhere. If you would ask my husband, he would say Shawn Michaels in wrestling, okay? Like whatever it is, the best of the best, think of the industry. If you ask them, why are they the best of the best? They're going to tell you because of practice. And anyone that is considered a legend, if you broke down how much they practiced, it would be at least 20 hours a week, and it would be equivalent for 10 years. Think about that, you guys. 20 hours a week for 10 years. That is some follow through. That is some long-term goals, right? That visionary. What's the key to that? Consistency. However, one of the biggest distinctions between someone who succeeds and someone who is just spending a lot of time practicing or a lot of time doing that effort is the purpose of the practice. It kind of goes back to the consciousness as well. It's easy to just show up and do stuff. It's actually not easy. It takes a lot of dedication to show up and do stuff. But just because you show up doesn't mean you envision it. Just because you follow through and just because you come to practices and just because you're consistently working better at reaching out to people still doesn't mean anything if you don't have your purpose. And what's your purpose? Your why, right? It provides your why, your purpose, provides the context and the framework in which you find the meaning and value of your long-term efforts. These long-term efforts is what it helps to cultivate drive and sustainability and passion and courage and all of those things that we need when the roads get rough, that we can keep pursuing on, we can keep going forward. So what if you don't know your why? You know, that is something that this year I've had more people reach out to me and say than ever before. I don't know my why. How do I figure out my why? And that's something that's kind of really stumped me because I'm not sure how to help other people figure out their why. It's something that I've done a lot of research on and kind of self-development and how can I help my team do that? And one of the books that I found that I really like is by Simon Sinek, Simonsinek, and it's called Start Your Why. And it's a really good book based specifically on your why and what your passion is and how to find purpose in your life. He also has another book coming out in spring of 2017 that I actually have pre-ordered, that it's called specifically Find Your Why. And I'm really excited about them. But one of the things that he talked about with that is figuring out exactly what makes you you, figuring out what makes you happy, figuring out what makes you tick, all of those things. And another good book to do that with is The 4 Color Personalities for MLM by Big Al Schrader. That can be used for multiple things. One of the things that it can be used for is if you're reaching out to others, figuring out their color personality, but it also helps you figure out what your color personality is. And when you figure out what your color personality is, it helps you identify a little bit more about yourself and how you work. For example, I'm a yellow. Well, what does yellow mean? More than anything, it means I really want to help people. Well, help is pretty much the center of my why and who I am. So that's a really good book as well. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Okay, number 4, the kid's supposed to be in bed, but his dad let him take a nap today. They just don't understand, guys. I'm telling you. They just don't get it. Anyway, number 4 is resilience. Guys, here's the thing I can promise you more than anything else in this journey. You're going to fail. You're going to stumble. You're going to have setbacks of success. You're going to have things that are just going to knock you on your rear, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But the strength that it takes to get back up and that it keeps going, or that it takes to keep going, that is that resilience. That is so important. Andrew Colley says that resilience is the hardest part of being anything with grit. It's the hardest thing to do. And it's this hardness that's based on 3 things. The first belief is that you can find meaningful purpose in life. The second part is that your belief is you believe in yourself, that you have the ability to influence others surrounding you, and that influence will bring positivity to others' life. And the third thing is the belief that positive and negative experiences lead to learning and growth always and forever. Whether it's negative or positive, it leads to something that you can learn from. This is easily summed up in gritty people. They call it, so the grit community call themselves gritty, right? It sounds dirty, but I kind of like it, gritty. Gritty people believe that everything will be all right in the end. And if you get to a point in your life and it's not all right, it's not the end. I love that, right? Everything will be all right in the end. And if you're at a place in your life where it's not all right, then you're not at the end. How true is that? Like, it's a new motto of life for me. I love it. So what do you do if you don't feel like you have resilience? Well, you have to change your thinking. And when you change your thinking, you will change your activity. Awesome book. If you're needing help with resilience and you're needing help being able to get up and to keep going, is called The Positive Dog. And it's a story about power of positivity by John Gordon. I'm sure that there is a ton, this is a side note, I'm sure there's a ton of other books related to these things. And these books that I'm telling you guys wasn't off a site. It's just the books that I think of myself that have helped me along the way. So if there's others you like, then share them. We can share them when after I get done sharing the last point, and then others can do as well. All right, the fifth point is excellence versus perfection. So this idea of what is it, excellence versus perfection. In general, gritty people don't seek perfection, but instead they strive for excellence. Perfection is someone else's, or it's your personal identity or perception of an ideal situation, right? If somebody says I'm a perfectionist, they usually will say, I'm a perfectionist about the beds being made before I leave the house. I'm a perfectionist about my body image. I'm a perfectionist about the dishes being done before I go to sleep at night. You usually have something that you're a perfectionist about. I'm a perfectionist about my toilet being clean. Okay, you usually have something. It's your personal perception. Whereas excellence is an attitude. Excellence isn't perception, it's an attitude. You have an attitude of excellence. Excellence allows for failure and disappointment because they lead to improvement. You can say, I'm going to be excellent. Like for me, when I was in school, I was determined to be an excellent nurse. I didn't care what happened. I was going to be an excellent nurse. Let me tell you guys something. My sophomore year, in my first patho class ever, I was 4 weeks in, and I had a professor tell me that I was never going to be a nurse. I was never going to get it. There was no way that I would understand what I was doing. I didn't understand what she was speaking, and I needed to drop her class and find a different major. And I did. I dropped her class and said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I went and talked to a different professor, and she said, you are a person of excellence, Tristan. So that means that this one setback, this one professor isn't going to change you forever. You're going to persevere past this. And I took what she said and I did it, right? Excellence means you allow yourself to stumble. You allow yourself to fail. You allow for setbacks. But at the end, you know it's only going to make you better, and you know what your end goal is, and you know you're going to get there regardless of what's going on. If you don't believe in excellence, or you don't believe that you necessarily have this excellence mindset about you, then you need to work, or some steps you can take to do that is to set realistic goals. Evaluate your life right now. See where you're at. See where you're going. If you are a perfectionist, then choose something realistic that you can be a perfectionist at. For example, me, toilet, right? I can keep my toilet clean. I promise you that's something I can be a perfectionist in, right? Whatever that may be. And a really good book that I have loved and showed you guys with this multiple times is Millionaire by Halftime by Presley Swaggerty. He is a fantastic author, and so I adore him. All right, before I read the thread, I know you guys are telling me to change my batteries. Listen, it just started beeping right before the call, okay? These girls. It is my smoke detector. Can you post this book list? Yeah, I'll post it, Kayla. When I post the Zoom, I'll post all the stuff of what it is. Okay, side notes. Amanda has new ambassador training next Wednesday. Then that's going to change, correct? I'll let Amanda speak.
Yeah, I have prior engagements from 7 to 8 every Wednesday, or every other Wednesday, so it's just a lot of work. So I figure I'll move it to probably either Tuesday or Thursday, depending on how everything works out. So
perfect. But this week, or next week, the 11th,
that will be Wednesday. The same. And then I will make a whole new graphic. Everything will be new. All the events will be made in advance. So I'm going to make a bunch of events before Amber goes into labor and she can't do it anymore. So she's going to set that all up for me.
Awesome. Okay. So that if you have new ambassadors, which we do, we have several, then get them on new ambassador training next Wednesday with Amanda Foster. This Saturday is Super Saturday in Springfield. Well, they're all over, but our closest one, I think, for everybody on this call is in Springfield. So we're really excited about that. It's from noon to 4. We have Sarah Taylor and Sheila Medina. And oh my goodness, Sheila is the grandma of plexus, and she wears that with pride, y'all. She is a phenomenal leader that we have. I'm sure she will talk about the power of 3 because that is kind of her niche, and tons of more information. And Sarah Taylor is actually a sideline sister of ours. She is under Nikki, and she is a powerhouse for Fast Start Golds. She just had another Fast Start Gold that went Fast Start Gold, I think yesterday or day before in 20 days. So, I mean, be prepared to have your socks blown off because we're talking about phenomenal training and we're going to get it. And I'm not sure exactly what the training is about this year. We always get free goodies of some point, of some sort or another, whether it be a free book to write in and a pen or something, but we will get something like that. It will be 4 hours of training. I don't think last year they took a break. Did they take a break last year? I don't think so. It's 4 straight hours because the information is so good.
They didn't take any breaks, but like each one of them, because they were both pregnant at the time. We had Jen Hawkins and Emily Roberts. They both took breaks because they had to pee.
Yeah.
But like we didn't get breaks.
Yeah. So bring noon to 4, bring snacks or something. Like last year we had like beef jerky and, you know, random granola bars, stuff like that. If you're a snacker eater, bring some snacks, bring your water. There will be pink drink in little tubs that you guys can get some if you get to it before it's gone. But yeah, and then afterwards, depending on what everyone wants to do, it would be awesome to get everybody together for supper if that's something we want to do, depending on how long it takes to drive. Our team's going to be there. Elena's team's going to be there. Casey's team is going to be there. We have other teams that are different teams from ours, from Peoria, from Galesburg, from Princeton. We have teams from all over that are coming and more. So it's going to be a huge, huge event. I was asked to help host it, and so I'm going to be there by 10 o'clock in the morning, and I believe gates open for everybody else at 11:30. So I'm going to try and see if I can save us some phenomenal seats, but no guarantees. So we will try as much as we can to all fit together. Okay, one more thing. So this week, actually last week, we started doing Journeys 101 ended, which was an amazing group for people that were really trying to get a head start and get going and kind of redo information and set themselves up for success in 2017. It was phenomenal. From that, there was something specifically offered for people that wanted to do launch parties for the first time or kind of relaunch parties. And Christine did that, Kayla did that, Jess did that, Melissa did that, and Tammy did that. And I know that each of them had amazing success with that. Melissa added 3 new ambassadors. Jess has added 2. Kayla added 1. Christine and Tammy have each added or have potentials that we'll be adding in customers. Is that correct, Christine? Yeah. So talk about a phenomenal event. These, I think, might be our niche for our team. And so what I'm going to be offering here on out is to personally do those for 3 people every week. So if you're looking for an opportunity to kind of share more with your friends and family what Plexus is, it's Amber and Elena and Christy and I created this whole mock group that has all the information. Every bit of it is listed out. Graphics, groups, or graphics. My son is being loud. It takes away my concentration in the smoke detector. Graphics, videos, wording, everything you possibly need is in this mock group. So if you haven't done one yourself, I would love to do that first one for you, for your friends. And then from there, you can duplicate them down to your own team and go on from there. How that works is you are responsible for inviting and reaching out to 60 people and inviting them to say, hey, I'm going to do this launch event or relaunch event. I would love to add you to it. Are you interested? And once you've invited or reached out, sent this message to 60 people, which we have the wording for, then I will create the group and lead it for you. They're 3-day events. So how I can do them is Monday through Wednesday or Tuesday through Thursday, or even, Tuesday, would be Tuesday through Thursday? Yeah. So anytime during the week that the 3 days make sense, Wednesday through Friday, I would be willing to do them for you guys. I'm not going to do them on the weekends because the next 2 months, my weekends are packed, but during the week, I'm willing to do them. However, I'm only doing 3 a week. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. I would love to do that for you. And because you guys are on live, you guys have a whole day and a half before this will be posted on Odyssey to Gem. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. Okay. Anybody have anything else? Let me stop the recording and then we can chat some more.